Greetings, YouTube. Welcome to episode 328 of the 4,000 Question Challenge. And Mandarin apparently is all bothered. You gonna leave? Just gonna stand in the middle of my chest. There you go. My therapist asked me if I intentionally got my sweatshirt to match my cat. When do you think the first non-white person will be sworn in as president? 2008. Just gonna pick that as a random prediction. This book was written in 2004. If you were head of the country, okay, what rules would you make as citizens would be well to make sure citizens would be well educated? I would have a citizenship test required before you could get your high school diploma. Flat out. You have to show you have an understanding of how the United States government works and an understanding of our actual U.S. history. Not U.S. history as it is taught now, but actual U.S. history. Also, we should make sure that we have our students trained in things like balancing a checkbook, job interviews, paying bills, filling out an application, things that you need in the real world, having an understanding of healthcare, which would be nice if we were all under one banner in the future, like Universal, but that's wishing for unicorns apparently. Should there be an equal opportunity to die in combat on police duty or by capital punishment? Should there be an equal opportunity to die in combat on police duty or by capital punishment? I know all the words in that sentence. They are just strung together in a way that makes no sense to me. Now, you can die in combat and while on police duty, and you can die of capital punishment in America. The latter should be illegal, and the first two should be controlled as much as possible to minimize them. I don't know what they're asking in that question. That's the strangest question I think I've read in this book. That's just twisted. So I can't answer. I honestly, I'm trying to avoid it, but I can't. How do you feel about the nuclear arms race? I'm against it. How else are you supposed to answer that question? Are you like, I'm pro-nuclear arms race? No, I am not pro-nuclear arms race. I would prefer a world where there were no nuclear, biological, or chemical arms. Do you think the United States should be aiding the poor in other nations? Yes, I do. I also think we should be aiding them here. We should make sure that every single person in the United States has food, shelter, healthcare, and an education, and all of it of top quality. So I would like us to do both. Take care of everyone here and make sure that we do what we can to help the people outside America. Because for every dollar we spend to help the poor in other nations would be a vast dividend in savings from having to go to war so much. Should hunting animals be legal? I think it should be. I think it should be regulated more than it is. I think that the types of firearms that we have in America need to be controlled. I'm opposed to all semi-automatic firearms, pistols, long arms, shotguns, all of them. And I think that we should make sure that the people are properly trained. So there should be requirements for getting a hunting license, better requirements than there are now, not to mention registering all the firearms and background checks, yada, yada, yada. Why cannot a nuclear weapons freeze be negotiated? Because it's in the interest of people that produce them to not have that happen, and it's in the interest of people in power to keep people afraid. That's just me. How do TV political ads influence your decisions? Not really. Mostly they disgust me. That's the thing they do most. They disgust me. because I actually look into the candidates and I look at the issues. So the ads themselves mostly or almost exclusively disgust me. Are politicians more or less capable nowadays than they used to be? I don't think they're any more or less capable now than they were in the past. I think that they pander more to their base now than they did in the past because of social media and because of the news cycle, the 24-hour news cycle. These things play in to making politics just another branch of infotainment. And lastly, for episode 328, what do you do to protect your privacy? Well, I've made a concerted effort. For example, here on my YouTube channel, I'm a daily vlogger, but I don't talk about my actual address. I don't use my name. I I'm very I try to be very careful about what I do reveal about my personal life, um, and I don't spread my personal data around any more than I have to. So that's what I do. That's what I can do. I think that we should have a privacy amendment that requires the government and all businesses that want our data to be required to protect that data. And if they don't, they open themselves up, in the case of private businesses, to litigation. And if it's the government, up to not just civilian penalties, but potentially criminal penalties. Our data is ours. Our privacy is ours, and there needs to be an amendment that protects our privacy. Alrighty, so thank you for being here for episode 328 of the 4,000 Question Challenge. I hope you'll be here for 329.